Today on Dr. Oz, break the insomnia cycle, the 10-day plan to get a good night's sleep. If you toss and turn all night, this is the show for you. The secret formula to fix your sleep issues. Plus, it's the next step in the Total 10 Rapid Weight Loss Plan. Protein-packed meal ideas so you won't go hungry and you burn fat fast. Coming up next on Dr. Oz.
So, you toss and turn at night, counting the minutes as the clock, and they tick by so slowly. Then, because you couldn't get to sleep, you spend the whole next day sleepy, feeling like you're dragging your body around, only to lay in bed the next night and still be unable to fall asleep. Does this sound familiar? Yeah. So if it does, chances are you've experienced an insomnia cycle. Today, I've got a 10-day plan to break the insomnia cycle and get a good night's sleep every single night of the week. Joining me is renowned sleep doctor and my good friend, Dr. Michael Bruce, who says that insomnia is a cycle that needs to be broken. What do you mean by that?
It is. So when most people think about insomnia, they think about tired during the day, fatigue, sleeplessness. But in fact, all of those things can lead to a little bit of anxiety at night. So people get in bed and their brain starts going, right? And they're like, I'm not sleeping, I'm not sleeping, I'm not sleeping. And that, guess what? That makes it even harder for them to fall asleep. And you know, insomnia's got a lot of different flavors. It's not just I can't fall asleep, but it might also be I wake up multiple times at night, maybe I wake up too early, even I just wake up and not feel well rested. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out how to break the cycle of insomnia.
So they've done it, they've done our program, 10 days later, what are they gonna feel like?
So first of all, it's gonna be hard. This is not going to be an easy thing to do at first because some of the habits that we're going to be asking people to break are things they've been doing for their entire lifetime. So it's going to be tough at first, and they may even be a little sleep deprived at first. However, by the end of the 10 days, you're going to see an increase in the quality of your sleep, fewer awakenings, and overall, you're going to feel a whole lot better.
All right, so I put out the ask through social media for you at home to submit your Insomnia Chronicles. The first one was sent to us by Claire. She sent it at midnight. Take a look.
It's midnight. I have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I try to go to bed at the same time every night in the week, but in the weekends I like to sleep in, so I think my sleep patterns are messed up because the other morning I fed little pie face here baked beans instead of cat food. So I need your help. If not for me, then for little pie face.
So Claire is joining us in the studio. What kinds of things have you tried to fall asleep?
I've tried various things. I've tried melatonin, which helps me fall asleep, but it doesn't help you stay asleep. I switch beds. I go into the guest room. I go into my son's room. He's 6, and very often he jumps out and goes in with my husband, and it's like musical beds sometimes in our house.
Wow. So Dr. Bruce says the first step of the plan is to figure out your bedtime with a bedtime formula. Just to be clear, most of us haven't had bedtime since we were school children.
Right.
But you want to change that. Why is that helpful for Claire in particular?
So first thing we have to understand is that the amount of sleep that people need is roughly around 7.5 hours, okay? And in order to get to that, we have to be able to schedule our bedtime based on our wake-up time. You know, our wake-up times are socially determined, so kids getting up in the morning, got to go to work, get dressed, things like that. So what we want to try to do is be able to count backwards from that. So the average sleep cycle is, believe it or not, 90 minutes long, and the average person has 5 of those. So if you put all that together, that's about 7.5 hours.
Does that make sense? Hour and a half cycle, multiply it by 5. That's why we always say get about 7.5 hours. Not just a random number. 7.5 is the right number. All right, then what do we do?
So at that point, then what we're going to do is we're going to count backwards to that particular period, which for you, if you start out at 6, waking up, right?
6 o'clock, yeah.
Right, so if we go back 7.5 hours, that brings us to 10:30.
Okay.
So 10:30 is your new bedtime. What time do you usually go to bed?
I usually go to bed about 9:30, but I'm probably reading or watching something till about 11.
Right, so no more of that, okay? 10:30 is your new bedtime for sure.
Okay.
All right?
What about weekends?
So that's a really good point. We've got to stick to it all on the weekends as well.
We're asking for 10 days here, Claire.
Okay.
10 days. And that little tip changed my life. It really did. Recognizing I have to get up at the same time. I get to decide when I go to bed, but I know the penalty I'll be paying.
Right.
Okay.
Send it to me a little in a video format when you're sleeping beautifully after 10 days.
Okay.
Fair enough?
I will, thank you.
Sure.
Our next insomniac is Cynthia. She sent me this video at 1 a.m.
It's 1 a.m. and I just started my TV binging session. Got my tablet, my phone. I should be down for the count. But that's not the case. Because I'm not tired. I'm just not tired.
This brings us to step 2, which is to follow the 20-20-20 rule. A lot of folks have trouble turning it off. Explain how folks can do that for 10 days.
So first of all, a lot of people think that sleep is an on-off switch. It really doesn't work that way. It's more like slowly pulling your foot off the gas and slowly putting your foot on the brake. There's a process, and we need to give ourselves the process. So one of the things I ask people to do is to set their alarm clock for 1 hour before their new bedtime. So in the case that we just saw, that would be 9:30. Right? So we want her to set her alarm clock for 9:30 to walk into the bedroom.
Which is what Claire was doing, right? In theory.
Yeah, in theory, yeah, absolutely, she was. So she starts out at 9:30, and then for 20 minutes, she's gonna have to do all of the different things that you just gotta do before the next day. So in our house, I set the lunch boxes out on the counter for my kids. I find their shoes, I put their socks in their shoes right where we want them to be, because I don't wanna be running around early in the morning. And it's kind of a little bit of a ritual for me. You know, I turn on the dishwasher, I kind of get all those things in line that I know just kind of have to get done.
Wife has trained you well.
Yes, she has.
All right, so it's 9:50 now. First 20 minutes of preparation is done. Then what?
So then you do your hygiene, right? So it's wash your face, brush your teeth, get into your bedclothes. Get that hygiene done in approximately 20 minutes, and that leads us to approximately 10:10. So during that last 20 minutes, that's where we're gonna start to see some really interesting stuff going on. So that's really where you're gonna start to turn off your brain. That's where you can do things like meditation, deep breathing, prayer, anything that you really want to do in the dark, lying in bed, that really allows your body to ease into sleep.
All right, so that last hour can't be watching television. That's what Claire's mistake was. We have a different plan for that. Next, we got a note from this insomniac. It's a tweet. She sent it at 2:15. These are the actual times, folks. You can tell who's not sleeping. 2:15 a.m. Samantha asks, I prefer late dinners, 10 or 11. Could this be the reason why I can't sleep at night? Dr. Bruce, the answer, does it matter what time you eat dinner?
It does, and it matters what you eat. You know, it turns out that the human body really doesn't, it takes a while to digest specifically different types of food, and that can have a pretty dramatic effect on your ability not only to fall asleep, but to stay asleep.
All right, so let's talk about this. Step 3 is to eliminate the sleep-busting foods. Again, we're asking this for 10 days, people, 10 days. You can do this. What's a sleep-buster food?
So first of all, you think about different things. So spicy foods, citrus foods, and foods with tomato base. These all kind of fall into the category of high indigestion foods, high acidity, right? So what's that going to cause? A lot of stomach upset, a lot of gas, maybe even some reflux. All the things that you want to kind of avoid when you're falling to sleep. The second category has to do with our high protein and our fried foods. These can be very difficult to digest, and so if you eat as late as 11 o'clock and then you're getting in bed by midnight, your body hasn't even had a chance yet to be able to get through this stuff, and so you're lying there bloated, not feeling too good. It absolutely has an effect on your ability to fall asleep.
And finally, you got the mint, which makes sense because it wakes you up.
Yeah, so mint is one of those really stimulating herbs, which is great for salads in lunchtime, but it's not so great to have later at dinner. And then, of course, there's wine and beer. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem if you want to have one alcoholic beverage with your meal, a glass of wine or a beer. That's fine, as long as you give yourself enough time to metabolize through it, right? But generally speaking, alcohol, while it makes you feel sleepy, it actually keeps you out of the deeper stages of sleep, and also makes you sweat. So you end up middle of the night, sweating, waking up to go to the bathroom. It's really a recipe for disaster.
Now, on the other hand, step 4 is to add a teaspoonful of a sleep spice to dinner. This is a big idea. Explain what these sleep spices are.
So this is pretty interesting. And by the way, this is to add to the meal. Don't take a spoonful of the spice. Not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
Okay? But these are to add to the meal. So all of the spices that we see here, nutmeg, turmeric, parsley, dill, sage, and basil, all have sleep-promoting factors to them. Some of them actually help with the cycle of sleep, moving from stage to stage. Some of them can enhance a little bit of deep sleep. Some of them can enhance REM sleep. So adding these to your repertoire of recipes is really going to be helpful for a good night's rest.
Our next insomniac is Chantel. She sent us this Insomnia Chronicle at 3:30 a.m.
Dr. Oz, it is 3:30 in the morning and I just woke up because I'm starving. I get so hungry in the middle of the night, it rouses me awake, and I can't go back to sleep until I eat something. I am really an insatiable insomniac.
Chantel is joining us. What were you making in the middle of the night? Was that a waffle? What was that thing?
It was waffles, it was ice cream, it was bananas, like whatever I can grab, yogurt. I'm just.
How do you just look like this, eating all that at 3:30 in the morning?
I eat like every couple of hours. Like that's the only way that I fall asleep is eating.
So what does it feel like when you actually are up at 3:30 in the morning?
I'm up, but I'm starving. So then I'll eat, and then I'll try to lay back down, but I can't. So sometimes I'll get in my car at 3:30 in the morning and go to the donut shop.
To the donut shop?
Yes. And I'll go have some coffee.
It's an extreme
and donuts.
case. Extreme.
Yes, extreme. Yeah.
Dr. Bruce, your plan actually offers space for snacks. We actually want you to have the right snacks. This is step 5, everybody. You want you to eat a bedtime snack, not at 3:30 in the morning.
Okay.
A bedtime snack, but it's got to be the right combination of complex carbs with a small amount of dairy or protein. Please, if you can explain that, so poor Chantel's not driving off to get donuts at 3:30 in the morning.
We don't need her sleep driving in the middle of the night. So one of the things that we know is from a metabolic perspective, you don't want to go to bed full, but you also don't want to go to bed hungry, right? And so some people metabolize food very quickly. You obviously are a quick metabolizer.
Yes, I do.
Right? But there are some foods that can actually help with sleep, and these bedtime snacks are ones that will do that.
What's the mix of protein and fat?
So protein and fat, you want to keep both of those within a 20% range total. 80% carbohydrates. There's a lot of data to show that when you actually have more carbohydrates, it actually increases serotonin in your brain. Remember, serotonin is the calming hormone. You get that serotonin buzz,
Just
if
the
you
cookie.
will. So that's where the oatmeal cookie
Yes,
and the
that
milk
one.
comes in. By the way, that's one of my personal favorites. Oatmeal is a great one with bananas. Remember, bananas are very high in magnesium. They can absolutely help
Is
with
this
sleep.
cheesecake?
So that is cheesecake, and it's a, you know,
kind
it's
of
a
plant
small
is this?
piece. No, it's a small piece, but it's got enough dairy and enough carbohydrates so that you get a nice sweet treat. But it actually can be helpful. And on the end, we've actually got soy ice cream, and so this can actually help for some people with temperature issues in the middle of the night.
Chantel, you got it made.
So see, the banana was good, but I had waffles and ice cream.
Yes, it was the added
And I
things.
have
And plus,
Yeah,
the operative
no,
number was
no.
250
No.
calories.
250 calories.
I want to thank all our guests for sharing their honest stories. For these recipes that I've got on the table in front of me and many more. Plus, you can download Dr. Bruce's Good Night Insomnia app. If you go to droz.com, he's offering it for free to our viewers for a limited time. I'll be right back.
Next, the Total 10 Rapid Weight Loss Plan is a hit, and a big star of this plan is protein. Eat more of it, and you'll lose more weight. Burn fat faster with delicious protein-packed meal ideas to satisfy your cravings and hunger. Next. Ease your aches, end your pain. All new Dr. Oz, 10-minute remedies for back pain. Plus, the Total 10 is reinventing breakfast with fat-burning smoothies. That's coming up tomorrow on Dr. Oz.
On Monday, the Total 10 Rapid Weight Loss Plan was revealed. And wow, folks are really responding, tons of traffic. And at its core, it's a 2-week plan designed to make it easy for you to lose weight quickly. Today, we're going to get into what you need to be eating for lunch and dinner so you are never hungry and you are never bored. Now, Joanna's joining us. She's been on the plan for the past couple of days. How's it going for you so far?
It's great. I'm 5 pounds down.
5 pounds already?
Yes, 5
Good for you.
pounds. Thank you.
Explain to me how you're using proteins in the plan, because that's just a foundation of it.
Proteins are helping me a lot to stay fuller longer. So I split up my 12 ounces and I'll do it for lunch and dinner instead of doing it all at once. So it's really helping me to not feel hungry throughout the day.
You know, when you eat a lot of protein, you feel satiated, but you also lose your weight quickly because it takes a little more energy to metabolize the protein. It all doesn't get converted into fat in your thighs. So let's go over these new protein rules. So I want everyone else to be where you are on the plan.
Okay.
So in addition to the protein powder that you know is part of the breakfast, you get 12 ounces of protein a day. That's protein that you can have at every meal as you desire. And it comes in many forms. It can be turkey or chicken or fish or eggs. And I've added eggs to this year's plan, so pay attention to that because a lot of you wanted it. And we're going to turn your bland protein options into a meal that you actually want to be eating. So I put it all out here again. You're going to start with the base of the protein. And tell me if this looks familiar. So you can, for example, you can ground up chicken or turkey. You can buy a rotisserie chicken from the supermarket and just shred it. Remove the skin first, obviously. You like that?
Yeah, I'll take it with me.
Salmon or chicken breast, any way you want. You just get your basics there. You need to have the protein, the 6 ounces at lunch and 6 more at dinner. So when you're trying to pick your meal, how would you figure out what to do with this protein to make it a bit more savory?
I usually go according to what I'm feeling for that night. If it's Mexican or Chinese or Italian, that usually dictates what I do. I'm allergic to seafood, although that looks good. So I'm usually limited to chicken and turkey.
All right, so let's take those options in particular. And I want you to do this, everyone can do this with a Total 10 bowl. So I've made some Total 10 bowls here as examples. Remember, the protein is the base, right? And you're going to add in as many unlimited veggies as you wish, any way you want to put them. Then the total 10 bowls are going to answer the key question, what sounds good for dinner? You just said sometimes you want, for example, a little Italian.
Yeah.
Right? So Italian, this is an Italian example. You take a little bit of whatever protein you want, put some tomatoes, some onions, garlic, basil,
really
just
good.
a little bit of olive oil. And believe me, I've tasted these all. They're fantastic. and then, by the way, this is not real spaghetti. I'll get back to what that is in a minute.
Okay.
But this is an example of you make it into your heart's desires in Italian. If you want a Mexican bowl, here's an example of that might look like. Your
So
add-ons.
these are all mine to take home, right?
These are all yours to take
Okay.
home. No, we're going to eat them right here.
Okay.
The audience is going to storm the stage.
I'm greedy, so I'll take it all.
So kidney beans will be a Mexican dish. You can take tomatoes, peppers, onions, put a little salsa on it. And again, the carb stuff we'll get to in a moment, but this is the additions to your basic protein meals.
Good.
If you want a Thai dish, little cabbage, some green onions. This is pretty cool. You can eat almond butter, which you know you're allowed to have, and some unsweetened coconut milk. And you can make this little concoction here, which gives it a little taste with a little cilantro. It tastes very Thai. Mediterranean, all the classic Mediterranean dishes, cucumbers, tomatoes, radishes, onions, with some pickles, by the way, which you're allowed to have.
Love pickles.
And then finally, I give you an example here with a Chinese bowl, which was snap peas and broccoli, mushrooms, some onions on this, and a little bit of low sodium soy sauce.
Okay.
These are 5 examples. It is limitless the amount of foods you can make, as long as you follow the basic rules. So which of these, if you could only have one, Joanne, what would you pick?
I think I want to go with the Thai.
But you really want all of them, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yes, her eyes have opened.
I do.
Let me challenge you to something else.
Okay.
If you don't want to make a bowl, the other thing you could do, keep life super simple, is just add a variety of toppers onto whatever protein you want. So I gave you caramelized onions, mushrooms, and there's a little bit of salsa here. You can add more than one if you desire. You can make a different one every night as you wish.
Okay.
Were you bored with the proteins on the program?
Very. I was racking my brain trying to figure out how to make chicken and turkey again. Yeah, so it was really difficult. And plus, I cook for my husband, so he has no choice.
Yes.
What I make is what he eats.
Would this satisfy your needs?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Definitely the bowl there and the salsa is my favorite topping to put on anything because it makes it juicy and helps.
Well, good luck and keep it up.
Thank you.
So now what's missing here, everybody? What's missing here is pretty straightforward. It's carbs. And I alluded to the fact that carbs wreck your metabolism, they wreck your cravings.
Yeah.
So in order to eat the proteins, we need to add a little bit of these carb replacements in. So I'm going to give you a couple ideas that I think might work for you. I'm about to show you 2 super simple ways of making this work. I'm going to show you, for example, a zucchini noodle. So I don't know if you've ever tried this before.
Pinterest.
They mean Pinterest. Pinterest, you see this.
Yeah.
Take your zucchini, and you can either use a spiralizer like this. And by the way, if I can do this, anyone can do this.
Okay.
And you see what it looks like coming out of there?
Oh, wow.
Now, tell me you're not impressed, everybody.
That's awesome.
All right. Good.
Very good.
So it looks like that, and that was actually the pasta that I showed you. You can also, if you don't want to get a spiralizer, you can go spiralize for a second here.
Sure.
Show them how easy it is. You can actually just use a regular old peeler and just slice the zucchini like that. And when you slice it, you make those little strands. It works just as well.
Awesome.
Any way you want to do it, however your heart's desire, but this becomes your new version of what would otherwise have been a pasta. Then just gently take the moisture out, just blot it out with a towel.
Okay.
Put a little bit of olive oil, maybe a tablespoonful of olive oil on it, and then you can use this with a little salt and pepper, and it's fantastic. You can even heat it up.
Awesome.
Cauliflower rice, this happens to be my favorite.
Always wanted to try this.
This is really cool. So you take the cauliflower, use the largest grater that you have.
Okay.
And then you go like this. And once you pull these out, and they do taste like rice, remarkably like rice.
Okay.
You, again, get some of the extra moisture out. I don't want you to cook this on a pan.
Okay.
Because it actually makes it a little bit mushy. Add a little salt and pepper to it, put it in your microwave or put it in the oven.
Oh.
And it is, you can look at it right there.
Yeah.
I actually think the best way to have it is raw.
Oh, wow.
So that way it maintains the crispness. But these are super simple ways to trick your husbands,
Right.
your kids, and anyone else who's coming along on the trip with you. Because if you do the right thing, they'll do the right thing as well.
I would have never thought to put it in the microwave. I would have also always thought to put it in a pan. Because
Yeah.
that's the first thing that comes to mind. So that's a great
We
idea.
tried it, it got mushy.
Really?
But the thing is, you can season this any way you want. So use it raw, put some of the salsa, for example, over there. Put it in one of those dishes like we were showing you.
Okay.
It'll be, this, for example, this would be a great Mexican dish.
Nice. Okay.
All right.
Thank you
Listen,
so much.
I want everyone to share your favorite ways to get more protein by posting on my Facebook page. Even if you have not started the Total 10 Rapid Weight Loss Program, it's not too late. You can begin right now. I'm giving you more of what you've asked for. More food, more recipes, more ideas. You can find the full plan on DrOz.com. Listen, tomorrow, new and improved ways to make your breakfast smoothies. Stay with us.
Tell us, is there a health star in your life?
My fiance Ian, he lost 40 pounds and just ran his first marathon with me to raise money for my favorite charity. He's my health superstar.
Share your story on Facebook.com/Dr. Oz. Next, overindulge during the holidays, too many cocktails and far too many dinners, and now your liver needs a break. Repair the damage and flush out the toxins. What foods to eat and eliminate. The 3-day liver reboot is coming up next.
Holidays. Nearly 40% of adults use the holiday season as an excuse to drink excessive alcohol. Look around next to you because someone's doing this. We eat 2,000 calories at holiday dinners oftentimes, and that culminates in at least 2 additional pounds gained this time of year, which is for a lot of folks the only pounds you'll gain all year long. So it's no surprise that come January, your liver needs a break from all this stuff. Today I've got a 3-day liver reboot to help you repair that holiday damage. But first, let me tell you exactly how this repair is going to help your liver reboot. It's going to reduce the inflammation that you cause with all that drinking and eating. It's going to enhance the ability of the liver to detoxify itself. By doing that, it can be the filter to protect you. And you're going to eliminate some of the accumulated fat in your liver, because when you put belly fat on, a lot of it goes to the liver. So let me show you why this liver reboot is so important. Let's start with the foods that you should be eating. So here's your liver, and there's your body around it. And ideally, your liver, literally like a filter, is saving you. When you eat healthy foods, the things I love talking to you about, lean proteins, greens, your liver does a pretty good job filtering all this stuff out. And then you get a little bile you can add to it, right? All of healthy food goes in there, filters right through, little bile on top of it if you need some little bit of help, and you're in good shape and you are very happy. But when you're indulging in unhealthy habits, which I know many of you do, I'm talking here about donuts, fried chicken, alcohol, all that stuff, that filter doesn't work so well. And guess what? Your bile still goes in there and it gets a little bit overwhelmed. And when it gets overwhelmed, it starts to back up in a big and unfortunately ugly way. Your liver turns fatty like this. You see it overwhelming the body? The liver's overwhelmed, it can't do its job. And because it can't do its job, the body can't do its job, and you begin to collapse until literally this is what your insides start looking like. The question is, what happens if this is going on right now because of a couple weeks of partying it up over the holidays? The good news is the liver is the most rejuvenating organ of the body. You can repair this damage. As bad as it might look, you're still falling apart in there. You can still reverse this. The first step of the liver reboot is to undo this damage. So for 3 full days, no alcohol and no sugar. I know, you're gasping back there. No alcohol, no sugar. This is all part of my Total 10 Rapid Weight Loss Plan anyway. It's a pretty smart thing to do no matter what. But if you eliminate all this stuff, you can start to reboot that liver almost immediately. In fact, for many of you who are skeptically looking at this challenge, I actually offered it to a few of my viewers to help undo their holiday damage. And I'm gonna find out how they are doing. Ladies, how difficult was it to eliminate the alcohol?
The alcohol wasn't really difficult to eliminate. I'm more of a soda drinker, so
that was the bigger problem.
Getting rid of the sugar was a bigger problem. Yeah.
Honest question here: did any of you cheat?
I did not cheat at all.
No.
I stuck
it
to
was okay
it.
for 3 days.
Yep.
And Lisa, what was the most difficult part of it for you?
The sodium, the salt, not having the salt on things. I'm not a real big sugar eater, so that was okay. Alcohol I just do socially, so it didn't really bother me that much, but it was definitely the salt.
Okay, that's step 1. Step 2 is to flush out the toxins. Remember all that stuff I showed you, that little demonstration, all that crud that was accumulating? You want to flush that out with warm lemon water, minimum 8 cups a day. You heard it right, 8 cups a day. The lemon juice calms inflammation in your liver, and it helps protect it with the free radicals that sometimes bad habits give to it. So those bad boys are taken out with the lemon water. It's also part of my Total 10 Rapid Weight Loss Plan because it's such a valuable part of starting your day the right way. But instead of 1 glass to start the day, I want you to use this as a 1-2 punch by getting it all day long. Step 3 was actually to boost your liver function with 3 perfect meals to erase the holiday damage. I'm gonna give you these as examples, you can modify them. For breakfast, I want you to have probiotics and antioxidants. Now, what does that mean? That means live cultured yogurt, because that's what a probiotic is for a lot of folks. It works in the gut to reduce the effects of toxins in the liver. And then any of these colorful berries, blueberries, raspberries, cherries, they all have antioxidants that protect your liver from oxidative damage. And Lisa, you said this was your favorite part of the program.
Yes, it was. That was my favorite meal because I love Greek yogurt. I recently switched from regular yogurt to the plain Greek yogurt, so it was not a bad meal at all.
I like the texture more, but it also is rich in protein, which I like for breakfast. Lunch and dinner, you'll get your lean proteins and leafy greens. So for example, a salad with dandelion greens and some chicken. And I also offer you cauliflower here, which, it's a fantastic dinner solution anyway. It's also part of my Total 10 Rapid Weight Loss Plan because it's so beneficial in many ways, but specifically for your liver, it helps break down alcohol, nicotine, and toxic residue. So if you compare this, ladies, to what you're eating over the holidays, how would you grade it?
No comparison.
In a good or bad way?
Well, there's no pie. There's no stuffing, there's no leftover turkey sandwich,
Well, judging by the fact that neither of you cheated, I gather it was an achievable program. Would you do it again?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would definitely do it again.
Did you
It's
lose
a
some
great
weight?
start program.
Yeah.
I lost 4.5 pounds in the 3 days.
Oh,
Yep.
it's hard to do. So I just want you to do this for 3 days to reboot your liver, and that way you can revert to its pre-holiday function, your entire body. You can find the full liver reboot plan on DrOz.com. Be right back.
Tell us, what's your favorite healthy snack?
I make a big healthy salad at the beginning of each week. Whenever I'm hungry between meals, I have a bowl of it. Tastes great and much better than chips.
Share your favorite snack on Facebook.com/Dr. Oz. Next, are those annoying gray hairs making you feel old? Can you pluck them out without more growing back? We'll separate fact from fiction and give you easy at-home solutions for unwanted gray hair to bring back that youthful look. Next. Ease your aches, end your pain. All new Dr. Oz, 10-minute remedies for back pain. Plus, the Total 10 is reinventing breakfast with fat-burning smoothies. That's coming up tomorrow on Dr. Oz.
50 Shades of Grey. And I'm not talking about the sexy kind, but rather the annoying and frustrating shade that takes hold of your hair and it never goes away. Today, the new gray hair solution to bring back your youthful looks. Let's start with Deanna. This is Deanna's hair before the grays took over. Isn't she pretty? This is Deanna today. She's still pretty, but show us yourselves, Deanna. It's a little grayer. Here, I can hold this like this. Up, I'll hold like that.
There we go.
There we are. There's a comparison of Deanna before and after. So how would you describe your hair before it started getting gray?
Well, it was black and beautiful and luscious and just gorgeous jet black. Everyone always complimented it. And now, as you see, it's a bit of a problem.
So what are you doing to deal? When you went from this to this, there was probably a first day you noticed the gray. What was that?
Probably in my early 20s, you know, the little strays and you pluck them and another stray and you pluck them. And then throughout time, gradually more and more bursts of gray and it's a problem.
And what are you doing to get rid of them?
A box color is what I usually use, but it's a battle. Within a week, I'm battling with the whole thing again. So the roots start growing.
Let's put this away and start dealing with you.
Okay.
I have a couple ideas I think will appeal to you. I want to actually help you cover those grays, and I want someone who's really a pretty good expert at this to help us with this. So
Okay.
Rodney Cutler is joining us. Hey, Rodney.
Awesome.
Hey,
Thank you. Thank you.
the hairstylist
Thank you.
extraordinaire. Come on over. You join us. We'll just talk for a second. Now, I'm going to ask Rodney a question about you. But look, I want. Yeah,
This
it's
way.
okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. So, Rodney, I think people all over the country are always dealing with gray issues. They come up quite a bit. You look in the mirror, you're not happy with what you see.
No.
And we're frustrated by it, but I'm not sure that covering it up is always the best way. There are lots of folks who are making the most out of this.
Yeah, and there's lots of myths. You know, if you pluck one, 7 will grow back, and it's going to happen at a certain time, which is not true, and it's going to happen overnight. So it's not really, that's not true, and it's a big myth as well. Lots of celebrities now, Kelly Osbourne dyed her own hair grey, Diane Keaton, who naturally went grey, which looked fantastic.
does look
So
good.
it's really, you know, if you're ready for it, it can be a great thing to embrace.
Which I'm not ready for.
All right,
even
that's all right.
close.
So you want to look cool and you're into that, you can try that.
Yes.
But in the meantime, we've got a couple solutions that will work. Come have a seat. I
Yeah,
want
and
to show you
ombre,
something.
you know, ombre is a really big thing now.
here?
Ombre is about when you let the hair grow naturally at the roots, and we keep a few highlights, so that's a great way to segue from coloured hair to growing it out, which is a great trend solution as well.
What if you're really stubborn,
Yeah.
like some people are, and they want to absolutely get rid of it? And the first of the tips we're going to offer you has to do with argan oil.
Yes.
Why is that important for gray
You
hair?
know, argan oil is a luxurious oil. It nourishes, it moisturizes, and it adds a richness to the color. So what I'd recommend is just apply it on damp or dry hair every day, get it evenly through the hair, and let it dry naturally. Now, remember, this hair is colored. People forget that underneath here is grey hair. When we lose the colour, we lose the moisture, and you get that wiry texture. Argan oil will help smooth that out temporarily, which is a really great solution.
Great.
Have you ever thought of argan oil before?
No, actually, I've heard about it. I've never tried it though.
And how much do you apply, Rodney?
Just a nickel size applied in the morning, and it should last all day. It's very easy, and it won't weigh your hair down. Great solution.
All right, so Danielle's in their audience today, and she's actually been using argan oil for her hair. So I'd love a testimonial. Was it good, bad, miserable?
It's great. I've been using it for, I guess, about 3 years. I wish I found it sooner. I find I have my grays here. It's like gray tentacles, and they're all wiry and crazy. And I found when I started using it, and the more I used it, they lay down nicer. It feels almost like the rest of my hair.
And it's inexpensive, which I like
Exactly,
too.
yeah, exactly. You're dead right.
Okay.
Keep applying argan oil over there. So the next solution is to cover up the grays in between salon visits, because it's hard to go to the salon as much as people need to otherwise.
Yeah, and this is in between visits. This is fun mascara, and for guys, a little awkward to be carrying it around, but yes. And all it is just applying it in between visits.
I'll be the guinea pig. This is how much I love you
now,
guys.
this is on the sideburns. Now here, we're just applying it. Now pick a color that is similar to the hair, the colored hair. Just brush it on very lightly. You don't have to cover the whole thing on the sideburns, just to sort of blend it in, it'll camouflage. Now, if you have that big regrowth line, go a little heavier with it, you can block it all out. Very easy to use, it's not drying and it's not damaging, and just carry it around in your handbag, pop it out. If you see a little gray one plucking out, take care of it.
What if it's the wrong color for your hair? What do you do?
Well, don't do that. Get the right color. Give it some. Test it before you go in public, right?
Explain to folks why we even get gray hair. What's going on?
What happens is, our follicle loses its melanin, and then we lose the color, and we also lose the moisture as well.
They travel together. Okay, the next solution. This is the one I was suspect of, but Rodney's going to defend it.
Yes.
Violet shampoo.
Yeah, and when you start to go gray, and we love that silvery color that we come through, but in between, you might have that stain-looking gray hair or a little yellow. Violet shampoo is going to neutralize the yellow. If you look at the color chart, you'll notice that violet and yellow are on the opposite spectrum, right? So it's going to neutralize it. Now, for this, use it once or twice a week. Test it, all right? If you have very white hair, you don't want to look like a violet rinse, right? No. That's old-fashioned. That's gone. So test it.
That's right.
See how long you leave it on. Exactly. So 2 or 3 minutes, test it, and then you'll get a beautiful, clean, polished color to your hair.
Rodney, always a pleasure to have you on. For more ways to keep your hair healthy, go to DrOz.com. I'll be right back. Nicely done. I appreciate it. This is a good idea.
Next, are you confused about fats? You're not alone. Which are the good ones and which are the bad? Dr. Oz is clearing up the confusion by answering your biggest questions. Learn how to add heart-healthy fats to your diet and where to get them from. Next.
Whoever said a doctor's visit isn't fun has obviously never been to the Dr. Oz show. Is that right? Make your appointment today. Go to DrOz.com/tickets and sign up for free tickets. Are you confused about fats? Well, I reached out through social media, and look at your responses. They have been absolutely pouring in. Today I'm clearing up some of the confusion and answering your biggest questions about fats. So up first is Anya. So Anya Instagrammed this cartoon. He's got 2 avocados, and one avocado says to the other, "I said you're the good type of fat." Oh, I think it's cute. So Anya, how are you?
Hi, Dr. Oz.
So what is confusing to you about these fats?
Well, I didn't know much about the good and the bad fats, and when I seen this picture, I decided to post it on Instagram.
Well, you very honestly asked about them on your little post, so I'm going to answer them as best I can. Okay. There are good fats and there are bad fats, and there's a reason we care about them is because they affect a lot of diseases. The good fats seem to reduce the risk of heart disease, which is, of course, my specialty, dear to my heart. So avocados are a great source of good fats. They're called monounsaturated fats. And you probably have heard of lots of other sources. For example, canola oil, olive oil, fantastic for the Mediterranean. Olives themselves, obviously, because olive oil does, so do the olives. All these nuts that I keep talking about, the almonds, the hazelnuts, they're rich in the right kind of monounsaturated fats. Okay. Then there's another kind of family called the polyunsaturated fats. Again, you've heard of what's in this family. There's soybean and flaxseed oils, many sources. And these, some of them are omega-6s, some of them are omega-3s. Have you heard those firm?
Yes.
Okay. So flax seeds, for example, are rich in omega-3s. You want these fats. Your body doesn't make them. So you have to actually eat them. You have to get them from your diet. But you want to balance them out. It turns out that in America, we don't get enough of the omega-3 fats. Those are the really healthy ones. So you want to get especially more of those. So things like flaxseed oil and salmon, both good sources of omega-3s are important. But there are other good sources of these polyunsaturated fats. You can get them from pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds. Tofu has it. People think tofu is only about protein, but it's got the right fats in it as well. Did that clarify it?
Yes, it does.
Where did you find that avocado cartoon?
Just looking. My wonderful son here, he's always online.
I like it. Stay online. All right. Thank you, Ania.
Thank you.
All right. Next, Erin tweeted a question. She said, Dr. Oz, I know I'm supposed to avoid trans fats. How can I tell if they're really in my food? Erin is joining us. How are you?
Good, how are you?
What do you know about trans fats?
I'm not gonna lie, I really don't know a lot.
But you know they're not good for you, right?
I do.
All right, let's talk about it. It's the worst kind of fat out there. It's formed when manufacturers turn liquid fats like this, a liquid oil, into a hard fat. So feel that. Imagine having that in your body floating around, all right? You don't want that idea.
No.
But then why would anyone do that? They do it because it increases shelf life. They're not doing it to hurt us,
Right.
but it is done. It was done for many years, and I understand the shelf life issue, so we don't want to get trans fats in our bodies if we can't avoid it. The question is, how do you tell if it's in your packaged foods? So do you read the labels?
I'll be honest with you, I do read the labels, but I mostly read how many calories, how much fat's in it, but I don't read everything. I don't read the entire ingredients.
Well, first of all, I'm glad you're checking it at all. It turns out people play a little game with those packages.
Okay.
Sometimes the manufacturers don't tell you really if there's trans fats, because they don't have to. If there's less than half a gram of a trans fat,
Right.
they can hide it in the product. So you have to go beyond just looking at that regular nutritional label. You want to look at the ingredient label.
Okay.
And the ingredient label is going to say a couple words, everybody. It's going to say hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated or shortening. If you hear those words or read those words in the actual ingredients of a product, then they have a little bit of trans fats in there. You can probably find a product that's similar that doesn't have any at all.
Oh,
I hope that's helpful.
that is very helpful.
You want to take his fat home with you?
No.
Yeah, okay.
You
then-
can keep your fat.
Thank you very much. All right, now Mary posted the next question on Facebook. She said, I'm confused about margarine. Is it healthy to eat? Thank you for coming, Mary.
Thank you
And
for
thanks
having me.
This is one of the most common questions I get. I am not surprised. There are a lot of folks like you who are confused. In the past, margarine's got a bad rap. And a lot of people remember that because it was made with partially hydrogenated vegetable oils, the kinds of things we're just talking about over here,
Right.
where they changed the liquid to a solid fat, and they did it by making it into a trans fat. That's not the case anymore. The vast majority of products out there are no longer made with partially hydrogenated vegetable oil. In fact, the American Heart Association says the best choice for your health is actually a liquid margarine or a soft margarine in a tub. These are called spreads or buttery spreads. So now I got rid of that basic concept, but let me just talk a little bit about what we're talking about, and I can best do that with a little demonstration.
Okay.
Are you a good whisker?
I'm a great whisker.
Okay, here's your whisker. All right.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to show you how you actually could make spreads at home. All right. You put a little container with some soybean oil. You want a little bit of that oil. Remember I talked about the plant-based oils a few seconds ago? That canola oil or soybean oil. These are good fats. So to make it spreadable, go ahead and cool it down and whisk it a little bit. Get whisking. And you want to actually make it a little bit more solid. It's easier to use, makes it spreadable. So I got some coconut oil. So I'll mix that in there.
I love coconut oil.
I love the taste too. Doesn't it smell good?
Yes.
Is that
Like
the fastest you can whisk?
Oh, whisk
You're
fast.
vacationing in there. All right. So,
Coconut oil made me feel like I was on vacation.
but you want a little of the coconut oil in there to make it a little bit more solid, and you want the soybean oil as the foundation. With soybean oil, you get those healthy fats. Okay, that's the base. Now, while you're working your tail off over there, I'm going to add a couple other items. For example, you want a little bit of milk. That gives it a dairy flavor.
Are you going to come help me do this at home?
If you get worn out, I'll come visit myself. Let's just see how we do in this little experiment on national TV first.
Okay.
You want some egg yolk in there. This acts as an emulsifier. There we are.
Oh, yeah.
Now, is it getting thicker? It is getting thicker.
Yeah.
Then you want a little lemon juice, which is a preservative. Yeah, these are all natural products. And a little pinch, just a little pinch. I'll dance around you like this. A little pinch of salt in there. Right? Now, as you do this, and by the way, you may not find exactly the same ingredients in the spreads you buy, but they're going to be very similar. When you buy a spread, what you really want to look for are a couple key things. You want to look for 0 to 2 grams of saturated fat per serving.
Okay.
You want to have no trans fats. We talked about that. And you don't want to have anything listed on the ingredient label like a partially hydrogenated vegetable oil. And you don't want artificial preservatives. You don't need them. So, should I help you, or you think you're doing okay?
I think I'm doing okay, but I mean, I like having you next to me. I mean, it's nice to have
We'll
some
cuddle
company.
like this. We'll cuddle like this.
It's nice to have company while you're cooking.
Now, can I show you how I like to whisk?
Yes, go ahead.
Because that was sort of anemic whisking. There we are. Now, this is a professional whisk. Now, you turn it on like that.
Trying to cuddle with you now.
All right. Now, you notice how it's getting thick in there?
Oh, yeah.
Can you all see this? Yes. Now, as it gets thick, look at that.
Oh.
That's thick. You turn it upside down, and this is the best part. Please taste our concoction. Just give
Seriously?
it a little, yes. You smell it. That was too easy. It was too easy. I loved having you on. It does taste good, doesn't it?
It does. It's
All
really
right, listen.
good.
I want to thank our sponsorship partner, I Can't Believe It's Not Butter. Beginning tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, the first 2,000 people to go to DrOz.com will receive a coupon for a tub of I Can't Believe It's Not Butter. It meets all the above criteria I talked about. It's made from real, simple ingredients that contain 0 grams of trans fats and no partially hydrogenated vegetable oil. And audience, I would never forget about you guys. You're all going home with the same. Enjoy. We'll be right back.
Thank you. That was fun.
Ease your aches, end your pain. All new Dr. Oz. 10-minute remedies for back pain. Pain-free in 10 minutes. 3 quick fixes for relief. Plus, the Total 10 Rapid Weight Loss Plan is reinventing breakfast. 3 new smoothies that boost your metabolism and help burn fat fast. All new Dr. Oz. That's coming up tomorrow on Dr. Oz.
Today, a special update on a very special young woman. Last year, I introduced you to Sean Green, a brave young tourist, British tourist, who was hit by a taxi in a horrific accident just outside my office. Sean lost her leg, but maintained her spirit and was soon able to walk again with the help of a high-tech prosthesis. Now, Sean is making an crazy, amazing recovery, and I wanted to share her progress with you. She finished her sophomore year at university, has begun to drive again, and recently took a vacation to one of my favorite places on earth, Turkey, where my parents live. Now, while in Turkey, Sean actually went swimming. She went for the first time since the accident. Here she's getting ready to go in. Swimming, as you know, is fantastic exercise for everybody, but for Sean especially, it helps strengthen her leg muscle. And her sister wrote this, very telling. She said, Sean was teasing me as she can still swim better than me, even with one leg. Sometimes it's very hard to hold back the tears, but they were happy tears. We all shed happy tears for Sean as well. Now it's time for In Case You Missed It. If you're one of the millions that struggle with sleep, the 10-day plan to break the insomnia cycle is for you. My favorite tip is the 20-20-20 rule. It's all about planning ahead. You set your alarm clock for 1 hour earlier than your ideal bedtime, which for most of us is at least 10:30 or so. Then you power down for that hour. For the first 20 minutes, you spend it on things that need to be done for tomorrow, like your morning prep stuff, packing your lunch, all that kind of stuff. Then the next 20 minutes, spend on hygiene, brushing your teeth, washing your face. And the last 20 minutes are about relaxing and meditating in the dark in bed, just sort of allowing you to slip into sleep. Next, we pumped up the protein in my Total 10 Rapid Weight Loss Plan with the Total 10 Bowls. Whatever flavor you want, whatever exotic taste you desire, Italian, Mexican, Thai, Mediterranean, or Chinese, there's a bowl for you in this plan. And if you haven't started the Total 10 Rapid Weight Loss Plan yet, it isn't too late to join us. Sign up today and find the recipes at DrOz.com. Finally, please be careful of dubious people online that make it seem like I'm endorsing their products. I don't. To see a full list of our trusted sponsorship partners, please go to DrOz.com, and I'll see you next time.